Hey everyone, welcome to this comparison of the Peloton bike versus the NordicTrack S22i. While both of these indoor bikes are very popular and arguably the best available, they are in fact quite different, each having their own range of pros and cons, strengths and weaknesses, and so one may be better for you than the other, depending on what is most important to you. And not only are we going to be comparing the differences between these two bikes, but also within this discussion, we will be bringing in both bikes' more premium versions, the Peloton Bike Plus and the NordicTrack S27i, to discuss why you may or may not want to spend a bit more for them, and what makes them different than the regular Peloton bike or the NordicTrack S22i. So without delay, let's dig right into it, starting with each bike's price and some of their pros and cons. The Peloton bike has by far the lowest price here, starting at $1,445. This bike currently has a 30-day home trial, 12-month limited warranty, and free delivery and setup. While the Peloton bike is the most basic and bare bones in terms of features of all the bikes we'll be discussing today, it does have a significantly cheaper upfront cost. And despite the bike being a bit lackluster, it does provide access to the Peloton service, which, as we'll discuss in detail further on in this video, is quite excellent. The biggest concern for the purchase of the Peloton bike is that these bikes are old. And by old, I don't mean that they themselves are old, although they might be, as these lower priced Peloton bikes have been sitting in a warehouse now for a few years, but what I really mean is that the tech is old, specifically the tech in the 22-inch tablets themselves. These tablets run pretty slow at this point and will likely need to be replaced in the near future. In fact, Peloton themselves have said this tablet would likely need to be replaced within 3 to 5 years due to aging tech, and they said that over 3 years ago. So while the price may be the lowest, there might be a hidden cost in the near future of around $500 for a new tablet if you want to be able to access all of the content moving forward. Now next up we have the NordicTrack S22i, which cost $1,999. The bike comes with a 10-year frame warranty, 2-year parts warranty, and 1-year labor warranty and free delivery, though you will need to put the bike together yourself. While the NordicTrack S22i has a similar 22-inch tablet size to that of the Peloton bike, it comes with a good amount of additional features. It has a rotating touchscreen compared to the Peloton stationary one, 30-watt speakers, which are much better than the 16-watt ones included on the Peloton. The NordicTrack S22i also has auto-adjusting resistance, so the resistance can increase or decrease automatically depending on what the instructor is asking for, also taking into account your fitness level as well as the terrain and incline that you are currently at. There is a fan integrated into the bike itself, 2 included 3-pound dumbbells, and the bike also has the ability to automatically adjust the incline, ranging from a 20% incline to a 10% negative decline to help with immersion on the outdoor bikes, which, as we'll discuss, are a big part of the NordicTrack program. Then we have the more expensive NordicTrack S27i, which costs $2,499 and is pretty close in design and features to the S22i, but with one big difference, being that instead of a 22-inch touchscreen, it has a huge 27-inch one. And while the 22-inch display may be large enough for most, there is something to be said about the extra immersion that comes from an extra 5 inches of display, which feels huge when you're riding with your face that close to it. Now, I wouldn't say it's too big, though anything bigger would likely just be way too much. And then we have the Peloton Bike Plus, which costs $2,495, and like the original Peloton bike, comes with a 30-day home trial, 12-month limited warranty, and free delivery and setup. Unlike the original Peloton bike, this more premium version is not bare bones in the least, with a larger, better looking 23.8-inch rotating display, much larger front-facing 26-watt speakers, and additional rear-facing subwoofers, which sound great. It includes automatically adjusting resistance, so you can let Peloton take over the control if you'd like to follow along to the instructor's callouts. The calibration on this bike is also automatically adjusted, meaning that the metrics you get will be much more accurate than any of the other bikes and won't change over time like they do, for example, on the cheaper Peloton bike. And possibly most importantly, the tablet is blazingly fast and much more future-proof, meaning that there is little chance you would need an upgraded tablet anytime in the near future. Now, I was going to get into the quality of each bike and how they feel to ride, but I don't want to waste your time. And as of now, all of these bikes feel pretty close to equal when it comes to how they feel. And while NordicTrack feels a bit different due to its changing incline and decline, I enjoy riding them all. And so how they feel shouldn't really be a huge factor in your decision of which bike would be best for you. And if you appreciate videos that get right to the point without wasting all of your time, you could help me out a ton by hitting that like button below, which helps this video reach more people, and I really appreciate it. Anyways, the most important thing that we should spend time discussing today are the differences in experience that each of these two bikes provide through their memberships. Starting with price, the Peloton membership costs $44 per month or $528 per year. NordicTrack runs a program called iFit, which costs $39 per month and is discounted down to $396 per year. That is the price of the family plan for iFit, which allows for up to 5 memberships. But unlike Peloton, iFit also has an individual membership plan, which most people don't know about, that only costs $180 per year. Now, when it comes to a studio experience, meaning following along to an instructor indoors with great music and workouts that often go to the cadence of that music, well, Peloton is really the leader in this category. The instructors on the Peloton bike are some of the most engaging and interesting that you will find anywhere, and can be a great source of motivation to continue building a routine with some of the coaches that you like most. There are always a ton of new classes being added to be taken both on demand and live, and Peloton has the most interactive leaderboard here as well, being able to see how you're doing relative to others in the class, as well as having the ability to high-five them. iFit unfortunately does not have a great studio experience. The production quality is noticeably weaker here, as are the quality of the coaches usually brought in to coach these studio experiences. The music relies on giving you an option among 11 radio stations, so it isn't really that great and definitely not integrated within the session like they are on Peloton. There's also no leaderboards anymore on iFit, as they were taken down last year, at least temporarily, due to a settlement agreement with Peloton regarding a patent. Now, where iFit really shines is in their outdoor instructor-led content. These classes and programs take you all over the world and are some of the best fitness content produced. And not only are the production quality on these outdoor rides much better than the studio ones, but the instructors iFit saves for these rides are much better as well. And with the auto-adjusting incline and decline that changes with what you are seeing on the screen, these classes can be very immersive and engaging. Now, Peloton also has a handful of outdoor instructor-led content, but it's not that great. Without having any real incline or decline on the bike itself, these rides don't have anywhere near the immersion that NordicTrack does, and unfortunately, the production behind these rides continues to feel really awkwardly done. With iFit, these rides are usually filmed as if you were riding alongside the instructor, usually following right behind them. Whereas on Peloton, they use a lot more drone footage and up-close sideways shots that make the rides just feel really sort of bizarre. Now, let me know in comments if you know what I'm talking about. So while Peloton instructor-led outdoor content may not be great, they also provide a decent amount of non-instructor-led rides, which are pretty decent. And I like to take these types of classes occasionally, especially for my lower effort rides where I may be listening to an audiobook or something else. And additionally, Peloton has Lane Break, which is a video game version of a class, which those are pretty well done. And one of the big things that makes Peloton great is that they have a huge amount of other content always being added, like strength classes, boot camp classes, which mix strength and conditioning, yoga, Pilates, boxing, mobility, and more. iFit does provide some of this as well, but just much less frequently. Peloton also has a category of classes for the bike called Power Zone Training, which utilizes your own personal FTP score to provide classes which are actually based on exercise science, and in my opinion are much more effective to just regular spin type classes. And to be honest, this is the number one reason I stick to Peloton a lot more in terms of my bike riding, because Power Zone Training is my preferred way to build endurance. Finally, there is one more thing that NordicTrack does particularly well through iFit that Peloton does not, and that is how they build actual programs. See, most outdoor instructor-led rides are part of a larger series of classes all shot in the same location to build a complete program. So usually each area has 12 to 30 plus workouts filmed there as part of a complete program that is almost always well done with a mix of longer, slower training and harder, more intense sessions. This program structure is great and a huge reason why people love the iFit membership. Peloton does offer a handful of programs as well, and while some are well done, there are very few of them, and it doesn't seem to be a focus as they prefer to get more people into the newest content rather than follow along to pre-built on-demand classes. So that may have been a lot of information, but let me help you break it all down with a few simple suggestions. If you are somebody who really enjoys music and that indoor studio experience, or are somebody who just really prefers power zone training, then Peloton is going to be hands down the way to go. I would highly suggest spending the extra $1,000 for that Peloton Bike Plus, which I know is a lot, but just given how much more future-proof the bike is and its ability to self-calibrate, I think the value is worth it. The original Peloton bike, though, isn't terrible if that's what makes more sense for you. Now, if you're somebody who prefers more of the immersive outdoor scenic experience and like the idea of the bike inclining and declining on trails all over the world, following along to well-built programs, then the NordicTrack S22i and S27i are going to be the way to go. Personally, I think the NordicTrack S22i bike is probably the best overall bike on this list, with automatic incline and decline and automatic resistance adjustments, a built-in fan, and other nice features, all at under $2,000. It is a solid pickup. And even though the bike is $500 more than the basic Peloton bike, the membership itself is $130 cheaper per year with the family plan. And if you're the only one that's going to be using it, the individual membership is almost $350 cheaper per year than the Peloton membership. So the difference in cost for this bike quickly becomes irrelevant. The S27i bike, while it's really nice, feels a bit expensive relative to the S22i, given that the only big difference between the two is that larger screen. Now, personally, when it comes to Peloton and NordicTrack, I slightly prefer to use the Peloton Bike Plus, again, mostly due to them having power zone training. But when it comes to the treadmills, I actually prefer NordicTrack options a lot more than Peloton's. And if you want to know why that's the case, make sure to watch this video right here. As always, this is Colin Jenkins with Connect the Watts. Appreciate you making it to the end of the video, and I'll see you next time.